Okay, friends, so let's get started with this collage. So you should have picked out a strip that will be the grass and two different papers that are completely different that will be to assemble your house. So we're going to start with the basics first, just get these three pieces out of the way, and then we'll start adding more detail as we get a little further along. Also, you're not going to get glue right now just because I want us to make sure that we get these pieces right before anything is glued down and we go any further in the process. So what you're going to do first is I need for you to take these plain papers and I need for you to doctor them up just a little bit. So I want you to start with your grass. Do not trim, if you look at it horizontally, do not trim from the short sides because this fits exactly the width of your paper, okay? So there's going to be no cutting done on these short sides. You may, however, cut the top so that it either is kind of zigzaggy like this, or you can trim it so that it has, like, it's hard to see on that side because it's kind of dark, an irregular edge where it's just kind of bumpy and a little bit of a wave, just to make it look more organic. Okay, so either one of those things you want to do, just basically to the top edge of the piece of grass. So that is that. And then what you'll do next is you will figure out which piece you want to be like the main part of the house and which piece is going to be the roof. And these pieces should have been like completely different so that they stand out from each other. So you could trim it a little. Let me put the grass down just so we can kind of see. Trim your first piece that's going to be the main portion of your house. You're going to have to make it kind of significantly smaller. This is way too big to just put on like it is, so you're going to have to trim that down, whether you want just a rectangle or if you want a house more like the one in the picture where it's kind of a rectangle but then it has kind of a triangular point to the top, so you could cut it like that. And if you need to flip over on the back and draw before you actually cut the lines, that is fine. But basically you are figuring out the house shape first, okay, something really, really simple, and then kind of play with the arrangement of it. If you look at this, the house is kind of shifted more towards the left. There's this little lean-to part of the house right here. And then there was room for a tree. And if we want to do a tree, we can, but we'll need to leave room for it. So consider that like as you're placing things, remember we're not gluing, but I just want you to lay it down and kind of play with how it's going to look. As you are placing things, think about, you know, yes, do you want the tree on the right? Do you want to have a tree more on the left? Do you want your house right in the middle? And you could have maybe two trees if you wanted to. So we don't want to get too crowded with our stuff though. So think about that, how you want that to go. And it could even be tall like that, or it could be wide. So get the main part of your house done, and then whatever kind of roof you want. This one is just basically like two strips of paper that you could use for the roof. I actually, out of a piece of paper, made a trapezoid for the roof. So if you wanted to do a shape like that, you could. So the roof looks a little bit more substantial. You're welcome to do that. So I need for you to figure out the grass, and if you want to trim the edge, and I need for you to figure out the body of your house plus the roof line of your house. And the placement of those things. Before we do any gluing, I need for you to figure out exactly how the beginning of this collage is going to look, okay? So those three pieces, grass, body of the house, and the roof. Figure that out, kind of lay it out before we do any kind of gluing.